Hello and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons and critically fumble a lot. Not so much last session, thankfully. Sort of. The Cupcake Coterie are currently traveling the Alama-Ver wastes, trying to collect various bits and pieces for money and the bits they need to give to the Steel Singer to produce a dragon-slaying weapon. At least one dragon-slaying weapon. Better they do at this, the more chance they have of maybe getting more dragon slayer weapons. So they've got motivation, particularly given that the black dragon that is currently ruling Baronsveer has also caused no end of agitation to poor Ava, being at least indirectly responsible for the razing of her manor and the death of almost her entire family. In any case, they after some rather unfortunate head fucky going on, they managed to trip over the evacuees from an airship, which was heading in the direction of north, and apparently had been set upon by a red dragon. They also made mention of a crazy blonde who ran out, told them to run for their lives, then dragged out a giant axe, sprouted wings, and went after it to buy them some time. Most of them knew who that was, and Ava was a little too freaked out to do anything but follow in their wake at that point. They went and they finished their what rest they could get, and then went off to see what had happened to the dragon. The dragon was very, very dead. Unfortunately, so was Alice A, their good friend whose life they managed to kind of wreck and, as it would appear, indirectly end. They fixed that. They shouldn't have been able to because Alice A had been dead for nearly a day, but they fixed it anyway. Not after making some sacrifices that two of the three of them don't quite understand yet. And Remi is predominantly brooding over it as we return to the scene at hand, which, incidentally, anyone proficient in nature, make me a nature check. Froseth gets advantage on this one. Actually, so does Ava.
Yes, I was just gonna check if.
I am not proficient in nature, though.
Yeah, okay, then.
I have lots of nature. I have 4 nature.
You do.
Neither am I, but jack of all trades.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
And I got a 9.
Roll it at advantage anyway. Froseth.
Okay.
I'm not proficient in nature either. Oh.
Still roll it with advantage then.
Okay.
Oof.
11.
And a natural 1. Luckily advantage.
No, that's a
No,
natural
that's a
2.
two.
I've got no modifier.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
What is it? Oh, right, because it looks funky because of the...
Yeah,
My bad.
Because it's
18
for
to
me.
be read. Yes. Okay. Darvin and Froseth. Okay, that dragon's really, really big, but we've seen dragons of around about that size, and this doesn't look quite right. Ava.
Mm-hmm.
Having a little bit more of an idea because of various bits of reading about the structure of dragons. This one has the approximate body habitus, the body shape of a young red dragon at the size of an ancient for some reason, which probably meant it was quite clumsy and not very bright and didn't have the advantages of most dragons their size, which probably explains at least part of why one person could bring it down.
So it had the power of a young one, but in the body of an ancient?
Yeah, it was big, it was probably strong, but it wasn't very smart, probably. And it didn't have it didn't have the scales aren't as tough. The head shape is wrong for a really strong blast of fire breath.
There's something very weird about this dragon, guys.
Besides the fact that it's out here.
No,
It was clumsy as fuck, if that helps.
I mean, no. It's too big for what it seemed to be able to do. It's like it was a young dragon in the body of an ancient. Does that make sense?
Like, you mean like somebody like
into an ancient, or just like expanded?
Yeah, like I was about to say, like
if she can see that it looks like a young dragon but just bigger, then it's a young dragon that's just bigger, possibly blessed by his god.
Oh god. Oh crap.
Alice is perfect in nature, and she rolled a natural 19.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
so
that
she's conscious and
she's alive and
she's
awake.
conscious. She's got her full hit points, but she had to roll at disadvantage. The first roll was a natural 20, the second was a natural 19, and she's proficient.
Freak out that die, I swear.
What are your dice?
Mine.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But I was definitely gonna let any of you who actually made the roll get it first.
So basically,
they
blew it up.
Tiamat happened.
Yeah, I should probably mention odds are pretty good that if she was watching through this thing, she thinks you were on that airship. So she thinks she knows where you're going.
Oh.
Well, I mean, eventually,
that doesn't sound good.
Well, to be fair, given that you don't really want her interfering with what you're doing, it doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
If she thinks that you guys are heading for Demille, she can't touch that.
Yeah, but she might attack another place that's got nothing to do with whatever we're doing, so...
Or it has very much to do with what we're doing. X-Ref. Home.
She wants you dead. If she's sending...
Well, exactly. If she thinks we're in a different place, she might attack that place. Let's just get rid of it all.
From what I'm hearing from these guys, sorry, didn't get your name and wondering...
Yeah, sorry. I'm so rude.
But about we get into names, though, are you in on the big secret that got people in trouble? The governors?
The council, you mean?
Governors, yeah, okay.
I was told, yeah.
Well, I guess somebody must have asked first. Okay, fine. From what I've been able to tell from these guys, the governor of Demille and points surrounding, ancient silver dragon, really big on the magics. Speaking of, at which point, Darvin. What the fuck?
Oh god, again.
Why is he a rabbit?
Because we told. Because
Come here,
that's
Darvin.
the punishment. And
get you off the ground.
Oh, that should have been. That actually should be me. But he somehow ended up deciding he was taking the blame for this one, despite the fact that I'm the one that told you, and she's gonna eat me.
Actually, Darvin Bunny, stop. I was there. Remember, I'm the one that got told. She's right. It was her who said the words. But it's good that you did what you did, because can you imagine having your healer randomly turn into a rabbit?
He's on my shoulder, by the way.
Nuzzle.
That tickles.
Yeah, that's gonna get weird.
If I ever go back to Elzor High, I'm going to die.
Don't worry.
2 hours, by the way. Yeah, so I don't know if they told you about me, Alice.
They mentioned you.
Oh, good.
Only good things, don't worry.
Good to know. And you are?
Ava.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
kind of covered in dried blood from various sources.
Oh,
but-
don't worry about it.
So, yeah, okay. I think. Ah, shit. Everything I owned was on that airship. They're not going to assume I survived.
Yeah.
They're going to sell my shit.
The dragon is
Sorry about
yours.
that.
We need to take apart the dragon and then give you all the bits. Also, there's more bits.
I don't think even your bags of holding could carry all the bits.
Are you all right, by the way? 'Cause
And I'm like,
that seemed pretty
bump,
brutal.
I'm tired, which is stupid because
You took down a dragon. I think you're entitled to a little bit of wariness.
except I was lying around for a while, at least getting on to one day, possibly more, where I just wasn't doing anything. Not physically anyway, so this seems unreasonable.
I know the feeling.
Nai, come here. I'm holding open my bag of holding. Get the dragon bits out.
Why are we taking dragon bits out? We are gonna need to take them places. Why don't we just leave them in?
That's fair. I just wanted to show you that there was more bits.
Oh, yeah, I did take off a bit of its wing. Right. Yeah, okay, good. Somebody found it. Right. Great.
What, darling?
He's
What?
basically patting all the shoulders to get people's attention.
Don't do that. You're gonna fall, you idiot. What do you want?
Does anyone have speak with animals?
I don't.
Sorry.
Okay,
I did.
Why did you write it in the sand if you
farming
wanted to?
and harvest, not
Could you write in the
nature.
sand? Maybe.
No, I don't
No.
think he bends that way. Okay, look, I'm gonna let you guys figure out how to communicate with
Can I
bunnies.
try and do an animal handling check?
I don't. No, I
I
don't.
don't know.
I think he's trying to wave a never mind, and probably bunny sulking. I've never seen a bunny sulk.
We're gonna see a lot of things that a bunny doesn't normally do.
Okay, I am gonna try and
Scooch, scooch, scooch.
harvest some bits. And Hazel, you don't look so good either.
Yeah, that was a powerful thing. How did you do that?
I have no idea. I asked a lot. And for his Paler, he said yes. Also, ow.
Yeah, I have some questions because Remi's over there, and I'm gonna need to deal with that a little later. And I'm wearing your hair. Why am I wearing your hair?
part of this process was... Is the right word sacrificial?
Yeah,
The fuck?
I would say so.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Glances over at Remi, who's giving Nai the stink eye at this point. What the fuck?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to use the right words. Common's not my first language. So, the way I wore my hair symbolized mastery in battle. But that means more than just mastery with a weapon, and my whole interaction with you did not show mastery, so part of my contribution was to recognize that in myself and remove the symbol of it ever having been there.
I know how this is gonna sound coming from someone like me, but I don't know a whole lot about gods. What I do know is that most of the time there is more to a symbol than you necessarily know.
It symbolized something I didn't have, so...
Well, then it's gonna take something you did. And is looking over at Remi like, oh fuck. Okay, I'm way too tired to deal with this right now. Does anybody want to help me take apart bits? I know where we can go to get Hazel some rest.
And you're
Well-
worse than me.
I was dead.
Exactly.
Look, the reason that my trip was so expensive wasn't just because the ship was faster. The reason that it costs so much is because it's fast and takes a roundabout route. It never goes too far from a settlement. Ava knows about these. There's a couple of different tribal groups within the desert. One is just the dune folk, and you're supposed to be careful of those because some of them basically raid. They're raiders and bandits as much as hunters half the time. The others are the Agwe. A-G-W-E.
Dune folk, you said?
Dune folk, yes.
And the other one was?
The Agwe. A-G-W-E. They're an oasis living folk. Who basically have their little centers of agriculture around whatever oases they can find. They're kind of trading ports and places where adventurers go when they get stranded. So from what Alice is saying, there must be one nearby.
What's the plan?
Well, I'm going to take this apart. If anyone wants to help me, that would be great.
I'll give it a shot.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll have her roll, but without the disadvantage that she'd normally have, because help gives advantage.
I mean, I was gonna, Bunny, try to point with paw to. Wait, if you're gonna do that, I'm gonna try to get down without. Like,
I am assuming you can hop off.
okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and hop over to Nai and be like, bump, 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 donk.
Well, you are a lop, so I guess having your ears down there is...
Would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. She does say, I mean, apart from the cloak that Hazel used to be wearing, nice breastplate, by the way.
Yay!
You look like you're the only one that doesn't have fancy armor of some kind. Some of this... How do you feel about fire resistance?
Who?
You.
I'll take it if that's an
Okay,
option.
keep in mind, you probably know as well as I do, the pretty much all the people here are some of the best leather workers you'll find on the continent. If I can get enough out of this, you're getting some red dragon leather armor. Shred. She does manage to get enough with Ava's help. She manages to get 6 teeth, one of which she keeps, one of which she kind of looks over at Remi and then just kind of pockets, figuring she'll give it to her later. So 4 teeth, technically. Enough of the straight up leather for 2 sets of leather armor, one of which she's probably going to sell, one of which she's keeping for Ava. The bit of wing that you guys kept, and another chunk, a good 5 feet square. And very carefully managed to take this gland from the back of its throat, which is probably what's responsible for it breathing.
The fire breathing gland.
Away.
Hey, it's worth. Believe me.
Good.
We've got, I think it's northwest a ways, maybe an hour's walk. Probably more at some of our current rates of progress. We good for this?
Yeah.
At the current rate of progress, you just see me just hop, 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 hop. starting to try slowly hopping in that general direction.
I grab him in mid hop and then put him on my shoulder.
We should be
Nuzzle,
careful
nuzzle,
with
nuzzle.
that. Remember what happened last time we were back in that position?
Sorry, what was that?
We should
Yeah,
be
Yeah,
careful
remember
with
the last time he was on somebody and then got back to normal?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Don't go
Well-
splat. You also don't need any awkwardness if you guys land funny.
Well, he feels it coming when he's human, doesn't he?
Not really.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he
Just
can't
gonna
keep
hazel
up
on
on
look
his
right now.
full paws.
Usually, here's an idea. Usually, correct me if I'm wrong, magic users. Usually, intervals for magic is minute, hour, or 1 hour intervals. So once an hour, stop, wait a few minutes, and if he hasn't turned back, we keep going. Probably be helpful for those of us who are a bit. Yeah. Anyway.
That's a good call, actually. Yeah.
Best plan. Thank you, Alice A.
Pauses a minute. Give me one more sec. And pulls out 5 more dragon teeth, one for each of you.
Oh.
I just kind of look at it like,
It's almost the size of you
Oh shit.
at this point.
I'm like confused.
Those are
Do what you want with it, but it's a northern hunter thing. It's part friendship and part acknowledgement that debts have become so great that they have become meaningless. If you see what I mean.
uh-huh.
Well, thank you. She's a little awkward because, I mean, she's only just met her, so.
You were there at my resurrection. Cope.
Welcome to the family.
Apparently, Darwin is nudging.
What?
I'm like trying to look at the tooth, look at you, look at the tooth, look at you, look at the tooth, look
You
at
want me to hold on to it? Is that what you're trying to say? I'll take Darwin.
He still understands us at least.
This is gonna be hysterical. Right. Thankfully, I do still have some things.
The
You have a
axe.
weapon? Yeah, so assume you have your weapon still, because it's what you killed the dragon with.
You can see it's still kind of embedded about sort of where shoulder blades would be. Right. Well, there's that. About 10 gold, some northern spices. I left my hair clips. I liked those. You remember when you first met her and she had the dark gold hair clips and yeah. I'll get them replaced at some point. Okay, let's go.
Onward. Sort of
How's
shuffling
Hazel
your-
doing in this heat in her armor, by the way?
Given her constitution score, she's actually not doing too bad. It's a little heavier than she's used to, but right now she's too tired to care.
Let me know if you need a cooldown.
Huh?
Vegetation.
And it's only about a foot across. It's only a foot square.
That's still enough to get your head, I think.
Or the back of your neck, or...
Honestly, dude, I really prefer winter. I miss the tundra.
Onwards to somewhere we can flop over
Oh my
without
God.
getting burned into lunch.
Onwards.
Yeah, the first hour passes. You pause for a little while. Hazel flump effectively.
Saw that giant bird, by the way, Alice A.
It's still hunting the area, huh? Great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe the dragon ate it on its way over. That'd be nice.
That would be awesome.
Damn. Share water around. Darwin has not turned back yet.
That is.
That is
I have no
so
words for this.
fucking weird. That is so fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean, bunnies don't shrug, do they? But this one does.
I'm
Well,
pretty
not
sure
technically.
they've got the shoulder movement to at least manage something like that. So
Maybe he ducks his head instead. Has the same relative shoulder effect.
and looks down at him. You okay over there?
He should be fine. He's just frustrated at being a rabbit.
Yeah, Flitty is probably on Ava's other shoulder. Do you like salads? Flitty is now the same green as Hazel's bow. Wait, why did he change color? I thought they went the other way.
Because he gave up his blue.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea how to cope with this. Looks over at Flitty. All the cookies? Some of the cookies. Thank you.
I am
Sylvan
attempting to get some of that bread out while we're wandering about and give Flitty in
you've
a bit.
kind of gone past lunch, but it was kind of there was kind of heavy moment going on, so clearly people were a little less than concentrated on their stomach.
There's bread, Flitty, here.
Nymph. And then sort of flies over and gives it to Alice, because you haven't eaten in at least a day.
No.
And maybe it was because you were dead, but I imagine that your body still needs food. What? Sylvan, so.
I'm then.
I think he wants you to eat.
Well, I'll have a bit of this now, but probably don't want to spoil the lunch that might be upcoming. I think you'll be amused at what we find. Some of the more country mice of you might not understand overly about the Oasis tribes.
Is it anything like farming?
Yeah, actually, but it's not the kind of. Most people have a hard time imagining farming out here. Actually, Ava's never actually seen their settlements. She just heard about them.
I gotta see that.
Well, I mean, I'd never left Barronsville until.
Well, yeah, but you were around with the brass arrows, but it was a short sort of training trip, so
Right.
you didn't have to stop. This is the longest you've been out in the desert. Remi doesn't seem overly surprised at the mention of Oasis settlements, but she's also very much brooding, and Alice is sort of still giving her the kind of look.
I'm just kind of hanging slightly back and cringing every so often.
I have wandered over to Nai, and I'm all but leaning on him. What? I'm tired.
Balanced on his shoulder. Don't look at me. I am just glad she's not leaning on me. I don't think I could handle it right now.
Yep, that's why I picked this one.
Hazel, nearly there.
About another half an hour walk or so, but I'm stalling a little so that maybe by the time we get within range...
He is no longer a rabbit.
Everyone looks at Darwin.
Yeah, basically. But we've been, we've had water, we've had nibbles, so let's hit it.
Yep.
Yeah. By the time the second hour comes around at your current slow pace, you can see, sort of on the horizon line, probably down a ridge a ways, because you can only just see the very tops, what appears to be palm trees. And if you put Darwin down within a couple of minutes, human.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah, that's a daily thing.
Ears.
Does he rip it on his butt or like landing?
He winds up standing up.
Mhm.
It depends on what position he's in when. But
So
you can
standing bunny
imagine
becomes
when
standing
the
barn.
what happens, he can stand up in the same approximate motion.
Mhm.
So, justice by bunny,
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was either that or get eaten, apparently. So
and they can't
Hey.
afford to eat you.
We don't want to be lunch.
I don't want to be an appetizer. I did not understand that, but I imagine that it's
don't want to be an
solidar-
appetizer.
Yeah, it's a little dragon solidarity thing.
Yeah, and well, yeah. So yeah. But thank you for the info on the hour. I had no idea. All she said was it was a random time and a random
Well,
length.
the way I figure it's gonna be it's gonna be intervals of about an hour, because that's how magic usually
Mhm.
works. And well, at least none of the magic users here were contradicting me. So I figure there can't be, you know, magic is a pretty intense thing, and I don't care how powerful they are. It's not gonna be, 23 hours or something like that. I imagine it's
It'll have its limits, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the longest is
probably random mid-single digits.
yeah. I mean, the longest it's gone so far is 4. So hopefully that's it. We'll see. She just didn't actually say, so I had no idea. I just knew it couldn't be longer than
I
a
know
day
I
because it's
probably
got to
shouldn't
happen
be
once a day.
saying this, considering who it is I'm talking about and what it is I'm talking about, but holy crap, she's a bitch. Huh?
Yeah,
I mean, I
that's
earned it.
accurate. I mean,
You didn't do it!
sure, she's pretty, but that only goes so far when she's that scary and that angry and that bitchy.
Well, anyway.
Okay, I'd ask you to take the scary and the angry part out of it, because
You are a different flavor of that. You know what I mean.
No, actually I don't. Seldom,
I'm
if ever.
confused.
I can't words right now.
Worse than usual.
Tired, and I'm probably not in great comprehension place. Okay, so before we
It's
go
been
down,
a day, so.
yeah, well, that's saying something. That's probably understating the case kind of a lot.
Anyway.
Look, shut up.
Huh?
Thank you. Before we go down there, I will
Mhm.
say this. Partially because, debts being so large, they're meaningless notwithstanding, I do kind of owe you. And partially because I really don't have anything else to do right now. I'm gonna stay with you guys until you hit some level of civilization. Maybe I can help.
Yay.
Okay, I mean, it's fine with us. Well, with me.
I don't
Mm,
think
surely.
given my kill count with these guys, I don't think they're gonna complain.
Umber Hulk went.
Umber Hulk got his head cut off.
Giant bony.
Oh,
Undead thing
no,
got dead again.
no. Ree over there got the killing blow on that one.
Got the killing blow, but you did a lot of damage. I'm told. Remember, I was around the corner.
Decapitation. Ugh. And now I'm leaning on Ava.
Yeah, actually, make
He's
me a
old.
strength. Make me a strength
Oh, no.
save, Ava. Sorry, when
Oh,
your strength modifier is in the negative.
Yeah, I know. I'm very strong.
Ava's buff.
So buff.
You're
So
stronger
buff,
than
you guys.
you're stronger than our rogue was.
Do I have this? Just a normal roll?
Just a normal roll.
Oh god. Oh
They both fall over.
Ow! Hazel! Get off!
Sorry, I'm rolling off of her.
I'll help Ava up.
Ow!
I got you.
Sorry.
Armor! Remember that! Ow!
Okay.
Thanks, Davin.
I am so regretting saying this now, but I have got no bargaining in me right now. So I'm gonna trust you guys to do the trading. Remember, Ava, one of those bundles of the hide is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Given what these guys are trying to do, and you seem to be tighter in with them than I was originally, you're gonna need it.
Well, certainly not come amiss.
Everything else, trade for what supplies we need and at least some gold, because I don't think 10 gold's gonna get me very far around here.
Probably not.
But if you guys have got like a tent or something, I just really need to lie down.
Mm-hmm.
Remi is just I'll stand guard. There's a look between them, and then just.
I'll say,
Are we in the? No, we're not in the settlement.
You're not
We're
there.
just outside.
You're not there. You're not. Yeah, you're just outside the settlement. She just wants to get all the. Alice is just, look, I'm trying to get all the organizational stuff done so that when you walk in there, you look like you know what you're doing.
Right.
Alice, I wanted to mention I couldn't before because funny, but if it matters, there were survivors. They did get out.
Good. I mean, there was enough to. I mean, I figure because the dragon didn't really get a chance to breathe much fire at the ship.
Yeah.
That was my main goal, so it got out pretty much unscathed. I was a little worried about the people that evacuated to reduce some of the weight. But if they got out okay, then that's fine. That's good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
they were headed back to the city last we saw them.
Exactly. That's actually how we found out what had happened. So.
Yeah, well, I did leave some really freaked out people with very temporary ice armor in my wake when I left. Yeah, Ava, I don't know entirely if they went into detail about this, but I am a kind of a specialized type of barbarian. I am kind of to barbarian what Froseth here is to Dragonborn. I'm very much ice-oriented. I learned to bring about the blizzard in my rage.
I see.
She makes storms, and her storms are cold and awesome.
It kind of goes along with the being protective thing, I think. But anyway, like I say, if you've got a tent, there's kind of spots where you can set them up on the outskirts. You do have a tent.
Yes, we do.
I was going to say, I seem to remember
we have the best tent.
You wised up, apparently. You didn't wise up, did you? Somebody sent you gifts.
I was about to say.
Yeah,
I can read the face like a book.
Yeah.
Even when bunny, I can read face like book. Okay, yeah.
But we're trying. You've had
I'm a
big influence.
Ava, we need you to do the tent thing. You're the one who did it last time, and I can't move.
My God.
Well,
set it up.
The first thing you do is head a little bit down the slope, and I move players too.
It's holy damn it, Christmas!
Cool.
Nice.
Is this what you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, holy jeez.
I had to divide it into 4 bits and import it in that way.
They're even cows.
So this is, but this is all for, this is the whole thing.
Yeah, antelopes. Is yours sort of coming in from that end, and you can actually hear sort of.
Wait.
Meh.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry, down.
I'm trying to get myself my view. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm having to zoom out.
Yeah.
That
zoom
yeah.
Very far out.
I got you.
From the looks of it, there's a lot of residents on the outside. They've
Mhm.
managed to dig out the oasis into shape. Somewhere in all those trees down there, there's a proper aqueduct system that looks like there's actually designs been carved into the sandstone. But there is a spot over here that looks like it would be suitable for guests and visitors as you go around the outskirts to pitch a tent.
Alright, 1 tent coming up.
Yeah, I won't make you roll for it this time. That was the first time that you'd set it up, so I wanted to see what was what. Yeah, as you do get closer, you get people sort of looking up from crops that seem to be grown in and around the trees so that they get the benefit of the shade.
That's really cool.
As you set up the tents. And yeah, they're a good bunch, but I as a direct result of them being a good bunch, I don't want to talk to them until I know I'm not gonna fuck it up.
I'm looking at
Behold,
Rosette for
best
some
tent.
reason.
Yeah, okay.
Pulls out the little bitty one, and puts it in, and
Let me guess, one of your mothers.
Mm-hmm. Come on
Yep.
in. It looks really cool.
Oh, hey, beds.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's basically all you're getting from right now. And Remy,
Oh wait, does that mean that there's one too little? Because we have one extra person.
Nai hasn't really been using it. There's a little table with chairs in the corner, and he's been trancing.
Oh, I see.
So you've got enough furniture. It's just somebody who didn't have to take a top bunk now does, because there's no way Alice is climbing up one right now.
Hmm.
So yeah, really all you got was just, oh hey, beds, thud.
Well, she's not
Nice.
moving for the duration.
grab
Can we really blame her? Come on.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab Hazel and drag Hazel over to one of the beds and just go sleep.
Yeah, agreed. You should rest too.
Yeah, Remy is just sort of taking up position outside the tent and like.
You okay, Remy?
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep watch.
And assuming I can
Alright.
actually manage, although if it's too difficult, I'm not going to bother. I'll try to put a blanket over Alice.
Yeah, I think you because you guys aren't going to bed. You can just grab one from the other ones. And why you're
That's
doing
true.
it in the middle of desert heat, I have no idea. But hey.
It seemed like a good idea. Trying to be nice. Not really sure what to do in this situation. Still kind of really like, holy crap, she's alive. And she wouldn't have been in that position if not for, Darvin's still like, oh god, this is all my fault. So.
I am
Out.
trying to pull the armor off first.
I'll go over and try and help.
Eventually,
Yeah.
Hazel is divested of armor. Alice has not fucking bothered.
I am rolling over and unconscious.
So that leaves for Seth, Darvin, Nai, and Ava
To do the talking.
And that being said, I think I'm staying here too.
I didn't. What was that?
I'm not getting
Open
involved
mouth, insert foot, elf.
Oh, right.
Okay.
So I gave
Well.
Rosette that significant look a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Well, no.
I mean, I'll give it. Well, I've never met these people. We'll see
No,
how.
no.
Yeah, by the time you guys are having the conversation in the tent, and Remy is just like, "We've got company."
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
I'll quickly
Okay.
step out.
I'll come out
Hello?
for polite, but I'm not
I
saying a
follow.
word.
There's three people, 2 men and one is a younger man, one is a much older man, and the other one is an older woman who is more than likely his wife. They're wearing
Odds or something?
Well,
Do they look
No,
happy?
well, no, I suppose not.
but can I finish, people?
Sorry,
Come
sorry.
on.
Sorry.
Every time I get into a descriptive, you guys do this. Their clothes are a combination of very well tanned leather, as in it may as well be velvet, the amount of movement that's in it, and sort of a not quite linen of a type that even Darvin's never seen before, and given his background, as it were, it's new. It looks fairly sheer, but still quite sturdy. Dyed in some not. And there's sort of a muddy shades of red and orange, but they're brighter than you generally expect from people scraping out a living in the and crops in the middle of sand. The young man is mostly in leather armor, and he is carrying a spear tipped with the tooth of what appears to be a burrowing maw. You've seen those teeth.
Not those two.
You're muted. Thank you.
That's familiar.
You've met them, have you?
Intimately.
Inside and out.
Intimately.
Bad
That
choice
is-
of words.
Yes,
Uh,
that is not a preference we would encourage here.
Yeah, no.
Did I
Good
recognize the mole? No,
It-
probably not.
No, yeah, because you had never met one, but you
Met
sort of
one.
vaguely heard stories. But given the reactions from some of these guys, you can
It's not a good.
actually, to be fair, for all we know, Remy's actually wearing hers. But either way, the reaction alone is this is something native that tried to eat them, therefore, and it doesn't narrow it down that much, but the cacti didn't have teeth.
Yeah, that it actually ate two of us. Three of us? Two of us? Three of us? Two of us. Two.
Darvin and
Yeah.
I.
Right.
Me, then
Couldn't remember
you.
if Hazel got eaten as well.
No, came close, but no.
That's what it was.
So I take it your adventures arrows?
Yes. Yes. We just taking a break, do a little trading, go from there.
That's more or less what we are here for. I imagine you understand that there are some simple ground rules. This is our home.
Of course. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Just mind your manners. And you are not to be getting involved with any of our people in intimate senses.
I give Hazel a look.
Well, Hazel's by this
Oh,
point.
she's passed out. Yeah.
I'm assuming that comment was directed primarily at the bard.
They've met bards before.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, got it. Yep. Okay.
They've met that infamous tiefling bard we ran into way back
Or
home.
maybe they just met a bard.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Or any adventurer, really. Let's be fair.
Anyway.
Yes, the woman says, you are here to trade, you say. What things have you?
Well,
We have dragon bits.
You have what?
Yes, red dragon.
When was there a red dragon here?
Just recently.
Yesterday.
And you killed it.
No, actually,
not
the
us
person that did is
technically.
asleep.
One of us, but
All right, then we will have to meet this individual when they are not asleep, because
Yeah.
things of this nature do need to be celebrated, particularly around these parts. We do look at we. You are clearly not from here.
No.
Except
No.
from this, except for this one, points at Remy, who's just
not paying attention.
no. So it was sort of half paying attention and just sort of tipping a little half
Mhm.
boot. Yeah, kind of thing. But Bahamut is much looked upon with favor.
Understood.
So, we have rather little in the way of a trading port, but we have a bit of a trading port. So we will feast you this evening, and you may trade for things you need. We do not have much coin on hand, but for the right things, we would spare what we do have.
Of course. Mostly it was we just members of our party just needed some rest desperately. It was more of it.
The older man and the older woman are just exchanging this look like, oh fucking hell. And Froseth, being perceptive, does know what that look means. That we are offering him hospitality, and he's kind of chucking it in our faces right now.
Not saying a word, is
hang on. Hang on. I've actually got something going on here hang on. There's like a whole lot of noise going on and
Okay.
whoa, then there's yelling and screaming outside. Okay, that was weird.
Sorry, here we call it the weekend, so.
No, well, no, it wasn't that kind of screaming.
No, it doesn't matter. Here we call it the weekend anyway.
Anyway,
yes, is Froseth going to intervene at all right about now?
Yeah. Darvin?
oh, did I? Shit, that came out
Yes.
wrong. Sorry, that came out wrong. I apologize. I was just meaning that we didn't want to be any trouble. I apologize. That if that came off like I was, yeah, no, sorry. We've been through a lot over the last day, and I'm a little off my game, as it were. I apologize.
Take refuge. Try not to touch too much.
Duly noted.
And feel free to trade, etc.
Okay, fans.
Thank you very much.
Then look at the tent. No, but we will take that into consideration. We will leave you to gather what wits you possess. They walk away.
That won't take long.
They pause.
Darvin.
The man just, you see him. And they just keep walking.
Well, try to make him laugh. What?
I'm going inside now.
And Flitty is sort of bouncing up and down, going, I'ma go explore from the up. And takes off from Ava's shoulder.
Be careful, Flitty.
Flitty's the carefulest one of us all.
Yeah, he's yeah. More capable of taking care of himself than the rest of us are.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
I mean, fair, but ow!
Yeah, Remy just gives a thumbs
You've said
up.
it yourself as well.
I mean,
Remy
yeah.
just gives him a thumbs up. Goes back to
Bravo!
the
Nice
Well
thing.
done.
Hey, more sushi.
At which point, from Alice, when did she start talking in her sleep?
This is new.
I don't know how. like, do I know how to? No, I can't do that. Okay.
Just let her be, Darwin.
I'll just mute something anyway. Right. So I guess I mean I want to look around. I've never been in any place like this.
No, me neither.
even
It's
wanna
very
just look
different from
around.
back home. From
Yeah, this is really cool.
Baron's bit.
Like, I've never seen anything like this at all.
No.
This is so cool.
I've
I
heard
just
of
want to
it,
look around.
but
Oh, yeah? I have never seen anything like this. This is totally new. I want to just look around and not touch anything.
I was gonna say, look, not touch. You know, let's try keep out of trouble for at least a few minutes. Because
I'd like a whole day myself, but
let's start with 5 minutes, baby steps.
If
No
you want a day, I'll go
problem.
back to the tent.
Well, at least we're sure to have a day that way, yeah. I mean,
I
I
know,
am
mate.
putting myself in the troublemaking department, don't worry.
Please. We
Uh,
threw you
the-
into a
the-
situation that you had
my-
absolutely no familiarity with.
My feeble attempt at talking to...
Yes, like I said, we threw you into a situation you had absolutely
Well,
no
I-
idea about, and you went about it the
Yeah.
wrong way. Gee,
Yeah.
none of us have ever done that. How do you think I ended up a rabbit? Funny. Whatever.
I'm assuming as some of this conversation is going on, you step through the
Mhm.
surprisingly well-cultivated fields and into the rest of the unnamed settlement. Given that you're coming through from around here,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing you get is really tiny trading posts. There's somebody in a tent over here who seems to be combining little bits of produce with various hides being stretched. The smell isn't the usual what Darwin would know from some of the smellier areas of Star Coast, the capital, as the usual tanner's stuff, which is usually brain matter and that kind of thing, and it usually reeks. Here, it's just a bit more of an astringent smell that he might associate with various poisons, which is probably how they get. They clearly use venoms or some treatments thereof, rather than the usual bits and pieces.
Let me check my notes for a second.
Honestly, I didn't mention getting the leather for armor. That's
You're breaking up.
I'm assuming.
Sorry, you broke up massively there. I think
Yeah, I didn't catch any
your
of that.
internet's hiccuping.
Maybe.
Sorry, didn't hear that at all. Could you repeat yourself?
The leather for the fire resistant
you-
armor.
There,
That's not going to be here, is it? It's too small.
yeah, but because it depending on how fast they can treat it, and it's possible that the way they do it is quicker than the way you're used to.
Oh.
It's worth a shot. She didn't
Sure.
mention one way or another, but keep in mind she was not in the best of states.
Fair.
But yeah, the other bits and the the remaining teeth and the fire gland, as it were all bits that she and about 10 feet of wing.
All told, yeah.
That's all to trade, but that one bit is Ava's.
Yep.
And it's the people manning the stalls, apart from the person who's currently scraping the back of a hide. The ones actually manning the stalls are quite young. We were talking sort of Ramas and Keth's age. Not
Like late teens, early 20s, or late teens.
No, that's early
Or wait.
teens, early mid-teens.
Oh,
Ramas
right.
is like
Yeah, 14.
12,
Yeah.
and
Ramas is 14 and
Keth is 15.
and Keth is 15. Yeah, my bad. Sorry, got him confused. Had it written down, got him confused. Had to
Is
should have
it?
checked.
Are they just stalls or are they houses as well?
No, they're just tent stalls. There's not a whole lot of actual architecture in this particular one. Although when you were stepping over the little aqueduct paths, you would have noticed that there's some rather intricate carvings on the stone that's supporting the course of the water. There's Palor's sun symbol. There's the Dragon of Bahamut. There's a couple of other symbols that vaguely remember from Clarity's charm bracelet.
And there
Hazel gave her.
And from the
shrine in Goldendale.
Yeah, and the was that called God's Hall?
Yeah, although you didn't get close enough to Obad High in God's Hall.
Right.
Really. But there's little mosaic green discs for Baori, who's the nature's bounty kind of individual. But it's all quite intricate, and there's mosaic works in the sort of corners where there seems to be some kind of filtration system going on. So they do have some architecture of a type, but this one is apparently either just getting itself established or is just happy to stick with tents for the time being. The teens are sort of looking at I mean, there's a dragon born! And they're looking like, ooh.
And I see the look. I'm like, you want to introduce yourself?
They look a little frightened, but interested all the same. You know what teenagers are like.
I just smile, look at Froseth, and go, hmm? I guess not. Okay.
They look at once a little relieved and a little disappointed.
At least give them a wave, come on.
Oh, jeez.
They sort of...
And thus, Froseth learned how to Disney wave.
Is it wrist, elbow, wrist? Well, okay then. Hello.
Hello?
Sorry. I'm fascinated by the technique that is being used here. I'm familiar with tanning, and it doesn't smell like I'm used to or like I'm familiar with. I'm intrigued.
What is it supposed to smell like?
Stronger, for one. You apparently go about it a different way than I'm familiar with. I was curious. We also do intend to trade, but it caught my attention. I was curious.
There are certain venoms that
Oh.
soften and well, when treated with other things, some herbal extracts, some plant oils, that kind of thing. You mix them, and you get a much softer leather, and it does not take as long to process as I understand that them in some other countries use some rather disgusting parts of the animal, and that is waste. You can use them in so many other different ways.
Huh.
So no, we do this, and it keeps things from spoiling, and it only takes the best part of a day to properly dry. More or less depending on whether or not you need to remove the actual hair, which we do for some of the things, because we need the hair to weave into various bits of cloths.
Fascinating.
Along with the pineapple fibers. It points across at a loom where there's the leaves from pineapple tops that they're stripping to fibers and mixing with this fairly coarse hair that probably came from the antelopes that you could just about see off in the distance with no water source near them at all.
Wow.
I take it you are not from these parts.
No. Actually, the only one of us that, well, she stayed behind. So, but no, we're not. So you mentioned hair. Given some of the creatures we've run across, do you guys work with scales?
Yes.
Okay.
There are many lizards.
I figured. But
I'm thinking
double
a
checking.
teensy bit bigger than a lizard.
Ava, you want to
have
pull
not
out?
seen all of the lizards that are here. And she pulls it out like, okay, that is a bit more than lizard.
Yeah.
looks at Frozen's scales, looks at those scales. Would you call him a lizard?
No.
Oh my god.
Of course not.
Not technically
Horrible
incorrect.
people. No, there is difference between lizard and dragon.
Exactly.
Well, we.
However,
That's
it's
what we mean by
I didn't
bigger
say.
than a lizard.
I said no. I did not say lizards. So.
Dragons, they are either noble or ignoble. Depending.
word.
You'll see.
Good word.
Lizards are simply lunch.
Anyway.
How did you come by these?
So,
That person's asleep.
yeah, but she basically slayed it.
Yeah.
One
but-
person slays red dragon.
Apparently.
Long story.
Is she
Yes.
going to come to dinner tonight? She does
Maybe.
Need, she does need food. You
Yeah.
have to wait.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's gonna
We'll
be a
try.
little while. She's still
Yeah.
recovering. It took a.
He's not dinner time yet.
Oh yeah.
No.
The effort took a lot out of her. Let's put it that way.
Yes, but we must.
Yes. And yes, very much so. So we have actually 2 bundles.
Like this, yeah.
But the first one, Ava, is that the one? Was that yours or was that the other one?
I have one. I don't know where the other one went.
Imagine Hazel's
Rosa?
bag of holding with, or well, one of the. Basically, I'm just gonna say that you stuck them all into one bag of holding, and it'd have to be Froseth because Hazel's is in
With Hazel.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
I'm going
so
to pretend you guys had common sense worth shit.
I mean that's what I thought. To be honest, so
Yes, but
we're
you
on the
never
same
sort
page.
this shit out in advance. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Anyway,
Well, we have 2 bundles like
Mhm.
this. We've
Yeah.
got some other bits too, but the main thing I wanted to ask is if something could be done with this set for.
Maybe make it
here.
into an armor of some kind.
I was wondering when you were going to be able to get around to actually asking for what it is you wanted. You do not need to be ashamed to ask of us to do things. We make armor pieces for the Dunfolk all the time.
Dunefolk?
Yes, there are our counterparts, as it were. Whereas we stay in the oases and we farm, and we have our settlements. The Dunfolk, they wander. They have no permanent homes. Sometimes they take us for spouses, and sometimes they stay. It is mostly arranged. And if somebody does not want to be somebody's spouse, they simply escape. Usually with the help of the rest of the Dunfolk tribe. Sometimes if they are
Okay.
sometimes if they are particularly nasty, the escape involves some murder, but nobody really cares.
Okay. As long as it works.
This is this 15-year-old girl with a leather scraping.
Yeah,
knife.
and I'm like, okay, as long as it works. It's not the strangest customs I've ever heard of. I don't think. I've heard.
In
Oh.
any case, we can most definitely. You didn't come, did you?
I was going to say, meanwhile, back at the tent, I'm looking, kind of looking in that direction, thinking of asking Remy. I wonder how much trouble they're getting into.
You can
Remy probably
deal
doesn't
you
hear
can deal with
question
that.
right now,
You can deal with that
but
after.
But
Can
speaking of
we
Remy,
deal with that when Remy's actually here? Because I'm gonna give you guys some time. In fact, I have to, because the way you guys have arranged this, it means that I can do something that I meant to do, and you
uh-oh.
guys can actually have some privacy while you're doing it. So good, great. I'm happy with this. So shut up and let me finish. Thank you. So yes, can you step over to here so we can take some measurements?
Sure.
They take a stick and are marking in various spots. And yes, we can do things with this. It will not be ready until tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's fine.
Late-
That's amazing.
Late morning, something along those lines. And you said you had more. We could trade such things with the Dune folk if there was more.
Yes, we have at least we do have another bundle. We also have some other bits. We've got some teeth. And one of the bits we have, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's apparently the bit that makes the fire, or part of it. I'm not the one that carved it out, so I'm not really sure, but it was somewhere around in here.
Well, I think that you would have to speak to some of our herbalists about this kind of thing, but
Okay.
I think there may be some use we could get from this.
Okay.
Possibly. I'm...
And we also have some bits of very large actually sheets, for lack of a better word, of wing. I think, what was it, about 10 feet altogether, but like in two
I think that's about
bits,
right.
if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. The one I rolled up pretty quickly. I didn't really get a good look at just how big it actually was.
A great deal of this is going to go to the Dunfolk. I imagine they could make shields and tents and such things out of it.
Mm-hmm. So,
Also, Remy says he's here.
Oh, well, we are coming around to that point anyway. So
Yep.
could you let him know that we'll get him back in after the break and deal with that kind of.
Okay. So Dune folk. Okay, that may. So what? I don't know if I. Out of character, did we actually get told what the tribe name was?
No.
Okay,
But they've just told you. So.
Well, they said Dune folk, but they didn't actually say their name. What their tribe name was.
Ava actually probably would have.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair. Because I was about to ask, but that's cool.
The Agwe is more of a group thing, and yes, we could use the fire gland too. I imagine that the Dune folk and our elders would be able to use it in the stone skinning. Is to make this skin almost more like his, and points at Verseth.
So you mean literal?
It hardens the skin and gives certain resistances.
That is fascinating.
Is again more venoms and can be quite dangerous, but the Dunfolk, they are a little touched. They play dart games with the spines from the walking cactus.
Oh God! At which point Darwin just goes white at the thought.
So if something misses, is a thing.
Yeah, I just boom, and I'm just.
Yeah, we experienced that firsthand. Ugh.
I got hit by one of those. Oh, wow!
Ouch!
Wow!
We very much feel for you. Okay, because we are keeping Anoms waiting and we're around about break time, what I will say is that the combination of the teeth, the wing, and the hide, they've dug around and they've basically said anything in the camp within reason and 50 platinum.
All right.
Mhm.
For a sec, do you want to? Sorry, Antheus, do you want to keep track of that, or because I was going
Yep,
to note it
I'm
myself?
doing that right now.
Given that that's mostly just going straight back to Alice anyway.
Yeah.
Point.
Because
Yeah.
you guys have the money. She has what she has in belt pouches.
I put it separate in the list, and
Yeah, and
Alice.
I'm noting that as well.
Okay. So while you guys are still doing your trading, we'll
Mhm.
take our 5-minute break, and when we get back, we will deal with what Remi and Nai are. And we're back. About half of the Cupcake Coterie is off trying not to put their feet in their mouths anymore. Because Darvin kind of fucked up in front of the elders. Remi was actually watching that part of it. It was just getting him looks, frankly, because Remi has been quiet and brooding for most of this. So yeah, while these guys are off doing the trading, and Hazel and Alice are zonked, with a very brief interlude of Hazel, who started talking in her sleep, and Alice very briefly just going, "How do you make her shut up?" Nai and Remi, the ones who did the thing, have a moment. Are they going to do anything with it?
I'm poking my nose out of the tent, kind of looking towards where the others went. Look over at Remi, who's been standing outside, yeah?
Yeah.
Look over, start to say something, and then just kind of shut up and stand there.
Is he like stepping up beside her?
Sort of like on each side of the entrance, I'm thinking.
Okay, Remi, look to the sound of him, then kind of look back out, consider for a long moment before she kind of steps over, goes for the shoulder squeeze, just goes, "Thank you."
You're welcome.
Then hand is back down. Conversation over, maybe. That's all she wants to say.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, out of character, I don't think either of us want to deal right now.
Which, speaking of perception check from the both of you, Hazel as well, but Hazel has disadvantage.
Oh boy. One perception check.
18.
Hazel with disadvantage. 7.
Oof.
Yeah.
I had to activate it.
Disadvantage. Hazel has a bit more perception.
I am
Well,
than
that's because Hazel is fast asleep. Therefore, it's Remi who notices that there's a light coming from inside the tent.
Remi definitely swiftly goes to the light.
Yeah, it's impossible not to notice a little fireball with feet marching into the tent, and you know, there's a definite radiant glow when she opens up the tent flap. So is Nai following?
Nai is like looking over, double take, sort of a, what are you doing? Okay, well if Remi's
Yeah, Remi
going in,
just-
I'm following.
Turns and goes without a word.
Yeah. Nai's like, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm tagging along.
So
Good idea.
Remi is the first one into the tent, and what she sees and what Nai sees once he's done sort of ramming into Remi, who I imagine stopped dead at this particular site. Very large humanoid. Deep reddish skin. Very gold hair. Very large white feathered wings. And giving off a radiant glow. Kneeling because if he tried to stand up, he would go straight through the tent roof. This guy has got to be over twice Remi's height.
Is this a good holy sort of radiant glow, or an evil deathly sort of radiant glow, or...
The first one.
Okay.
And he's this being is currently looking at Alice and looks up at Remi and Nai. Ah, I was hoping you'd drop in. Can you wake that one? She keeps muttering about cake pans, and I really want to poke her.
Prestidigitation, quiet bells.
It's probably going to take more than that with a 7 on perception.
Yeah, Remi's gonna
Okay.
go up to Hazel.
Slowly getting louder bells.
Oh, let's see what Remi does.
Bells or not, Remi's gonna go up to Hazel, put one hand on her shoulder, the other on her mouth, give her a few nudges. Hazel, don't freak out.
You know that's guaranteed to make her
At which
freak
point
out,
that
right?
and that's what you first you wake up to Remi just you're going don't freak out, then the bells, then the being.
Remi,
Completely
Flail.
saw that
I am
coming.
full on flailing.
Remi keeps pinning her to the bed.
I'm sorry, but that's gonna have to be a contested athletics.
Uh-oh.
Thankfully,
good lord.
Hazel's at disadvantage because she's still exhausted.
26.
Oh, natural
Nat
20.
20!
Yeah, no, she's
Wait,
Hazel.
you get the 20.
Hazel's exhausted. Remi is ready.
Just holding her down for at least 10 seconds until Hazel is breathing calmly. Calmly-ish.
It's gonna take longer than 10 seconds, my dude. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be where I can stand up. If you'd like to calm her down and join me, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, we'll be 1 minute.
At least.
Just kind of pushes Hazel down a bit more. Just deep breaths. Get dressed. Okay.
Pointing at mouth.
Then she pulls her hand away.
I need to breathe.
You could breathe through your. Never mind. Just get dressed. Get dressed.
Thankfully,
Taylor's Holy Light just walked outside. Excuse me.
Exactly. We need to address that.
I'm getting up. Out.
Hold on. Well, I guess you're dressed.
dressed. She just took the chest plate off, and
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Then.
Yeah,
Is
because
Alice
she's
still
not-
asleep?
yes.
Okay, Remi's gonna look back to her, back in the direction of the dude. Then she's going out of the tent.
Okay, when I get there, I'm doing the whole down, I am not worthy sort of thing.
Please stop eating sand.
I'm just still completely folded over.
Grab.
Remi.
Lift.
Oh my god!
You have feet. Please use them. Sets her down on her feet.
This is
So-
whole, like, clearly having some kind of religious experience right now expression.
I really should have expected this.
Remi will just kind of casual parade at rest. Looks upwards.
Yeah, well, it kind of has to, because 12 feet.
Looks very
Funnily-
upwards.
Funnily enough, not being noticed by... I mean, the settlement's not far off, but nobody seems to be paying any attention.
Should we do introductions first?
I don't need them from you, and we'll get to that in a minute. First thing I
Okay.
wanted to do was ask you if you have any idea what you've done.
Remi breathes in, tries to jut her chin up,
It's a little hard,
It's-
given.
dignified as she can. I did my duty. She kind of doesn't hold up the necklace, but it's hanging prominently. Actually, yeah, she looks down to the necklace.
Your duty.
Yes.
No more than that.
Remi's just... I did my duty.
Things you
Hazel did her duty too.
did a lot more!
Hazel did her duty. This will probably go a little easier if you just say it. She did her duty. He paid a debt. What did you do?
I had to do something for her because it was my duty to deliver her retribution for what was done to her was
You
unjust and because I failed her and I couldn't do nothing.
How did you fail her?
We didn't consider the temple, we didn't consider what we were going to wake up, and she went off on her own, and Tiamat sent a dragon after her for being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Actually, Tiamat sent a dragon after you. She just thought that she was with you. Or you were with her. Look, you're clearly not in a place for this, but I will tell you one thing right now. You know what she is. Did you consider how she is that way? In a very real way, she's mine.
Yeah, Remi's not gonna say anything.
Meet the in-laws.
Hazel Hearthheart, Cleric of Palor, you have channeled powers you should not have been able to touch. If you try it again, it will probably kill you.
Okay.
I interceded a little bit because I had permission to do so. I can't do it again. My attention has been pointed elsewhere.
Yes, sir.
Try to work within your limits. Sometimes you can't save everyone. Don't kill yourself trying. You are still needed.
Quiet meeping noise.
He who goes by Nai and Remi.
Cakes and me.
You don't know what you gave up, do you? From where would mastery come after you'd earned it? It would live in your memory. You may know where your home is. You may go back there someday. That is not for me to see. I am not of Istis's ket. But you will never truly remember any more than you do now because of what you've done. You need to understand that.
If that is the price I pay for claiming to be something I wasn't.
I wish you luck with your patrons. Remi Crestwind. You owe a debt. And so do I. We are in a position to help each other pay those debts. I'll return to you when the time comes, and we'll have another conversation. Because at some point, you're going to need more than just the brute force of retribution. At some point, you're going to have to acknowledge that what you did was about life. In a way that Tritherian is not. You may want to investigate something you felt at the time. And tell the fairy dragon that will be speaking to his keeper.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Treat her kindly, Crestwind. I'll know if you don't. And then without even a flash of light, he's just gone.
And I'm doing the I'm not worthy thing again over and over and over.
Remi just keeps looking for a moment and then looks to Hazel.
Still doing it. I
Nudges her with her foot.
I believe that's called a kick.
A light kick.
No, it's still you can still toe nudge somebody. It's okay.
And I have bearded to full-on exaltations.
How
Hazel.
loud are we talking here?
I'm about normal loudness, but loud enough to carry a bit.
Perception check from Froseth, Darvin, and Ava.
Oh no.
11.
Perception.
Meanwhile, I'm going to take a few large steps away from anyone
11
else,
as well.
so they're not in range.
I got. Oh, I didn't roll. Hold on.
Gotta click on it.
She's
5.
no, thankfully you guys are not hearing any of this.
Calm emotions.
Yeah, he's stepped out of range and he's done the
Cool.
general hand gesture and mutter that you know comes with a calm emotions spell. But at least he's not catching you in it by accident this time.
I turn around,
It'll only last for about a minute, by the way.
look at them both, say, at least I remember this time. Do we have any alcohol?
Well, there's people trading. There's bound to be alcohol in there someplace.
What time is it, roughly?
Somewhere between lunch and dinner, closer to dinner.
Yeah, let's get a few drinks from the market at some point. But she nudges Hazel. Does Remy know what he was
Okay.
specifically?
Nai wouldn't, so Remy and Hazel make me a religion check to see if you can identify.
Nat 20.
Another nat
Oh,
20
that's a nat
from Noms.
That
That's 2 in a row.
Hazel? Yeah, 10. Hazel's too freaked out to remember the name right now. A combination of freaked out and exhausted. She barely knows her own name at this point.
All I know is praise Paylor.
So when in
Rem-
doubt, praise Paylor.
Yeah,
Got it.
Remy
That's a good idea.
remembers. Remy got basically a crash course in the whole divine hierarchy thing. She will know that what she has just seen is a solar. They are basically one down from the actual frickin' gods. There aren't many of them. They serve the gods directly.
You got someone's attention.
Oh, you got someone's attention. Gods, did you get someone's attention?
Does
Actually,
she
we got
know
God's
what
attention.
god he's for? Or is just
Very
good
strong.
gods in general?
Very strong guess. That one is very strongly linked to Paylor. That one was serving Paylor directly.
So that was the next thing down, Hazel, from just having
Well,
here to us.
Nai doesn't know that. Hazel
I'm
does.
assuming.
Remy.
Sorry, I was assuming Remy had just said that.
I'm never going to assume that Remy says anything.
Yeah, that's a
don't
good
assume
idea.
that.
If you knew Noms as well as I did, you'd know not to assume. Does anyone want to ask what that was? Maybe that will kick some things off, guys. In character conversation.
Yeah.
I have finally stopped exalting. Okay, this is gonna. What was he?
Yeah, Hazel's going. There's word. I don't have word. I need word.
That
Flapping.
was a solar.
Yeah, Hazel knows. what a
Hypersonic.
solar is, Yeah,
I have gone hypersonic.
yeah at
a
this
what?
point,
Remy
Darvin
grabs
Yeah,
Hazel by the shoulder. Just a single shake.
Is that
what?
stopping the hypersonic?
It goes for about 1, 2 afterwards and stops.
Yeah, because you guys heard this.
Then
stop.
she will let go.
I know that
Ava still
sound.
hears something.
Wait,
I should
I know
probably
that
check
sound.
on that.
Yeah,
Hazel
Nai
did something-
doesn't
Yeah.
really know what a solar means. He didn't
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get heard over the hypersonic.
Yeah.
What?
Solar, a servant of the gods, to put it
Directly under.
lightly.
Paylor.
So that was basically the next best thing to having your god come down and say hi.
Yes!
How interesting.
At this
to
point,
having
the calm emotions has
her
worn
god.
off.
So, that
Yours
happened.
now too, probably somehow. I don't know. And I'm almost going hypersonic again.
Okay, Hazel.
Okay.
Hazel.
Yeah. First
Hazel.
and Darvin. Meanwhile,
Don't
back
make
in the
me do that
market.
again and catch you deliberately, Hazel.
Yeah, Remi's grabbing her by the shoulder again, looking her in the eye. You're the cleric of Taylor. You have to tell us what that just meant.
Oh, God.
Vibrating now. Trying not to squeeze, just vibrating. To the point where Remi probably is feeling the sheer buzzing.
Remi lets her go. Takes a step back.
That tingle's
Deep
weird.
breaths.
Meanwhile, back at the market, you guys had finished your leather
Yep.
dealing, and Darvin was probably looking at the really interesting musical instruments they put
Mhm.
together. There's some really interesting stringed instruments, and the leather on for their drums is really well made, and there's these little glass chimes that he's actually watching being made, and you hear the to the point where you're a little worried that some of the more delicate ones of those are going to shatter.
I'm like, oh, I know that pop.
Yeah.
Oh, because my ears just
go
go.
check on them.
Yeah.
Did
Ava,
I hear that? When
No,
I
Ava
started?
didn't
No.
hear that, but
Nope.
she
Ava,
knows the reaction.
we
from
need to go
those two
back.
by now.
Why? What's wrong?
Hazel.
Oh, God.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just going to look her without missing a beat as soon as she asks the question immediately without any hesitation. Hazel.
Come on now. Let's go. Come on.
Like, I just Hazel. Boom.
So we make our way back.
Mhm.
That
With a quickness.
These guys are a little ways away from the tent, but as they're passing, you get Alice kind of sticking her rumpled head out of the tent, going, "I just heard that noise she makes. What the fuck?"
There was a solar here.
No, because you guys are a little ways away yet, so.
Mhm. Yeah, we it's going to be a couple of minutes before we get there.
Remi's looking
you
back
guys,
and
you
forth.
you guys can see the front of the tent, and you see them sort of clustered. Hazel has a face full of sand, and it's
And
weird.
like
And
the
it's
area
all-
around me is probably vibrating a little from the sheer
And
force
Nai
of.
has- Nai has kind of a 1,000-mile stare.
What the do I need to not be here for this, or do I need to be here for this? Can somebody explain?
Remi looks between Alice, Hazel, the rest of the group. She can see the rest of the group, right?
Yeah.
Deep breath. Slowly steps over to Alice, leads her back into the tent.
Wait. What's going on now? Wait a minute. Okay,
Did-
you gave up. I don't even know what to bring me back to life. Then you don't talk to me. I pulled this and hands her a dragon tooth. Now what the fuck?
Remi takes another deep breath. Okay, so we just spoke with your father,
Wait, what?
the
Oh,
Solar.
oh, you mean whoever is responsible for me being?
Yes, that kind of father.
Yeah, okay. It's been that kind of day. I'm really too tired to freak out over this. What the fuck now?
Sorry, that was loud.
I'm not exactly sure what the fuck now, but that happened.
Clearly. Are we like not talking or what?
No, we are. I want to be talking with you.
Oh my
You're-
God, you're bad at this. Would it be easier if I talked for a bit and then you can like nod vigorously or run screaming depending on how you feel about what I say? Would that help?
Yes, Yeah, she just says yes.
Just 'cause, honestly, I'm too tired to give a shit. Okay, a lot of my life has not dealt with. I mean, I wrote the L word. Okay, that's the closest I've come to anything like that ever. My life has not exactly been safe to be L wording at anybody, and I did it to you. And then you petitioned gods to bring me back from the dead. Do you realize that in the culture that I spent my post-teen years in, that's a marriage proposal? I didn't figure you knew that, so I'm just gonna say that as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to hope that that's more than just some really weird, fucked up Tritherian thing, which, I'm sorry, I've heard Tritherians paladins have a rallying call that goes something along the lines of an eye for an eye, I don't fucking care if you go blind. So, you know, I am getting to the point where I can actually use the word that I mean when I say the L word. I may not be there yet, but that's my problem. I kind of want to see where it goes, and that's part of why, when I'm a little bit less exhausted and fucked off with everything, I'm gonna come with you on this bullshit that you've got next. Just to help. Just to see where it goes. Just to see what happens. Because clearly, Istus is flinging us at each other in big handfuls. I am interested in exploring this, and I can't do it if you're brooding at least 10 feet away from me at all times. Can we start with an acknowledgement that maybe there's more than just good time girl thing shit going on here? Can we do
Remy. Yes.
that? Good.
Yes, we can do that. Remy slowly goes for the hug.
Alice A basically gives a sort of roll, a fuck that roll of the eye, and Moulin Rouge style kiss going on there. Okay, we've sorted that out. I need to get some sleep. Go talk to those people, because if Hazel's making that noise, I know that noise. You've left her alone with them. Gods know what they think is going on now. I'll get the rest of it when I'm less. Another snog and just, I'm going back to sleep. Thud.
Okay. Remy walks out in a little bit of a daze.
Yeah, little must around the hair.
Still gibbering. Still vibrating.
Yeah, that's all you guys have been getting out of Hazel, and Nai's just. There was a fair bit of shouting going on from the tape.
Yeah.
Then everything went quiet, and Remy kind of came out in that. In something close to Hazel's, I learned so many things. Day.
Are we there at that point?
Yeah. You're basically trying to get coherent sense out of Hazel.
What the
Yeah.
What is going on
There was
exactly?
one.
And
Gibbering.
meanwhile, I'm like making magical noises and prestidigitating some of the sand away.
Yeah, so eventually Remy comes out, and she does look a little dazed, but does look like she'd probably make more sense than these two.
What happened here?
So
Something
yeah,
wrong?
that one's basically
Remy.
basically non-responsive, and this one's all responsive. What the hell's going on? And can we shut this one up for 2 seconds?
Yeah, I'll get in a minute.
In-laws. How? What?
Like I said, too much sense. What the hell?
What happened? What's going on?
There was a solar right here.
Do
I
we
have
know
no
what that
idea
is?
what
Can I
that
do a
is.
religion check
Yeah,
to see if I know what a solar
religion check
is?
for any. Darvin can do it. If Ava doesn't have religion proficiency, she can't. But Darvin has jack of all trades, so he can.
Oh, well, okay.
Nope. 9.
No, it rings a kind of a bell, but not enough to.
Oh, I know what I was looking for. Sorry, I lost track of my my tabs here for just a second. Religion. You know what? I'm just gonna close that all together.
The
11.
right-hand servant came down, discussed.
Wait,
What?
Yeah, you're gonna need to speak up. You're really quiet.
Yeah.
Did you say Palor's right hand?
Yes.
Yeah,
What?
pretty much.
Right
Because
hand.
of
As in Palor, as in the god?
Yes.
What,
As in
because of
what?
Remy? Are you sure it's just Remy, or is it what you pulled?
It's
Remy
what we,
and-
the three of us, did.
What, to bring Alice back?
Yes.
Yeah.
That Solar is Alice's dad.
That too.
Oh,
Remy
Well-
met the in-laws because I think they're probably married or bound together for all eternity now.
What?
what?
You, what did you feel when there was the thing that we brought her back with? What did you feel? Like specifically, sensations, tingling,
Me?
anything.
I don't need to know that.
No,
Okay.
it's
What-
talking to Remy, and she's probably
Yeah,
referring
Remy-
to the.
Well, I know. This is
Remy-
this is icy. I don't need to know about what feelings for it.
You
That-
shut up.
Awkward.
Yeah, you be quiet. Hazel. What does that have to do with anything?
What did you feel? Say it, and I will explain.
Oh, boy. There was a lot of feelings.
Remy will blurt that out and realize she's talking about that brand sensation over her heart. The actual physical, not any of the shit that she just kind of alluded to.
Then Remy pauses and kind of slowly looks downwards.
Yeah, well, you can't really see because it.
I mean, did she actually felt something, right? Like
Yeah,
physically?
it was like when she got made a brass arrow, that brand, that sensation of being branded on her arm. This time it was sort of center of chest, sort of over where her heart is. So it's a little hard for her to look down and see, particularly since it's under her armor.
Yeah, she's just, looking at her chest, but, armor's in the way.
Yeah.
Just kind of looks down and then looks back at Hazel.
Okay.
Okay, you're gonna go back in the tent. You're gonna take that off. You're gonna look.
Okay.
Go do it.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, Remy just kind of looks, then
worry,
she
don't
goes, then she
Okay.
starts taking things off.
When Remy takes off the chest armor and opens the front of her shirt a little bit, just over her solar plexus, which is actually where the heart is. Going for that side of the chest is way too far one way or another. By the way, she'll see it's an interesting sort of a symbol. Most of the outer part looks like the sunburst symbol of Palor. In the center, she has to look at the little mirror mounted to the middle tent support pole. But in the center of that, instead of just a straight up circle, there's the Triskelion that marks Tritherion. Seems to be in token that while there is that while she does have that bond with Palor now, that her vow to Tritherion is still being acknowledged.
Mary just takes another deep breath.
It's been a lot of that today.
Yep. It's one of those days. Just slowly puts everything back on.
Okay.
Stumbles a bit out. Looks to Hazel.
There was a lot of buckling and unbuckling and rebuckling there.
Yeah.
I'm still really confused and have no idea what's going on. I suppose that's not an unfamiliar sensation,
Bound
but I
together for all
prefer it
eternity
not
now,
to be
aren't
right
you?
this minute.
I think I've been marked by Palor. Literally.
Okay.
Okay.
You and Alice are now bound together for the rest of eternity.
Wait, what?
What?
Where did he come
You are
up with
basically
that?
married.
What? What? Who did? What did? Hun? What?
Where did she come up with that?
Stop from the beginning.
I really want to know because I didn't say that.
Start from the beginning. A solar cane.
Yes.
Yeah, the Solar is Alice's dad.
What?
This is a meet the in-laws moment.
What are you talking about?
Hazel
Ah.
has chosen to focus solely on that.
Solar came down, said it needed to talk to us, indicating
Yeah.
me and Hazel and Remy, about what we had
Bringing
done.
Alize back.
Is there a more ominous
Yes.
phrase than we need to talk about what you've done? Because I can't think of one right now.
No.
I mean, if they're
Not
really
really.
fair, you're
that
correct.
kind of person.
So we came outside and it was discussed with us exactly what we'd done and what it would cost us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I know you. Okay, so you. Well, obviously, Flitty gave up his their blue.
His keeper is going to have a word with him, whatever that means.
Well, no. The Solar
His-
is going to have a word with his keeper.
Solar's gonna go
Has
talk
anyone
to him.
told
Oh
Flitty
no, that
this?
Solar's gonna talk to him.
Other way around, the Solar's going to talk to his keeper. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, talk to Lyra. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense because we're coming back with Flitty being the different color. Lyra's going to want to know why. So that makes sense. But you gave up.
Hazel,
What was it?
do you want me to say it or?
Only if you're comfortable with it.
Oh,
Hazel
sorry, I
Hazel
didn't
just
realize.
got warned not to try that again because. To be
No, I meant regarding you, the stuff regarding you specifically.
Right.
I can say what's about me. If I do that
out
again,
of
I will
character,
die.
Nai is desperately trying to change the subject off of himself.
If I try anything like that again, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, there was
And-
that too.
And was being warned to be careful with what she dies for.
I hadn't planned on any of us.
To be entirely fair, it was not so much never resurrect anyone ever again. It's do not try to cast spells above the level at which you are meant to cast them. Because
Yep.
if you try to channel more Palor energy than
You're capable of.
then you have been trained
Burn
to
out.
handle, yeah, you are going to die.
Because
Yeah.
it's like touching the sun.
You're literally you're channeling, and yeah, no, I'm out of character. I completely get the mechanism.
Basically, if I try to channel more Palor than I'm able to, I'm going to touch the sun in basically every way that you could think of.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, nah, you don't. I'm not going to ask. But obviously you gave up. You gave up something very important. Nah, obviously you don't want to talk about it. That's fine. But I'm assuming the Solar came down and told you what it actually was. Because all I remember is what you'd said. I'm still not exactly sure what that means. But hey, I guess as long as it doesn't affect any of us.
I don't
Oh my god, did you really
Thing.
just say that? Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like, it's not gonna. None of us are gonna hurt.
Word.
You gave up something very, very. What am I?
You just put your foot in shit and then in your mouth.
Fuck. I'm sorry, Nai.
Darwin, I understand what you meant. If it affected anything we're
That
trying
probably
to do,
needed a wisdom roll to really understand what he meant, because it took me a second.
I'm not entirely sure. I followed everything.
No,
Okay, well, hold on.
yeah, go for it.
How exactly do I do that? Just click on wisdom
Yeah.
on the
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
On the word
10.
10.
It took you a minute, and you're not that sure, but you
I- but-
probably.
I kind of get what you're asking. If it affected anything we were trying to get done, I would tell you about it. This is just
He acknowledged our quest. We're all on the same page with that.
Give him
I-
a give it.
I
Wait,
just-
give,
I just always knew I wouldn't really be going home again.
Oh.
And just kind of flop into the sand.
Oh God, I'm so sorry, Nai. I am so sorry, Nai. Oh jeez, I didn't, and I. Boy.
Things
Oh,
are getting
boy.
very complicated.
Picking myself up just a little, much like not showing myself as a master anymore. It was something I was wrong about, and something I sort of knew I was wrong about.
Mm. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nai. You know what? I'm just gonna stop.
And then there's Remi.
And
Yeah.
I look over at Remi and I see that look and I'm just like, no. Just nah.
Yeah, we have another reason to go to Heaven's Ward. So since
Why do we ever?
yes.
But everybody's okay.
Yes, we're fine. Everything's fine. How are
Okay.
Mostly, I'm assuming we're fine. Remi, I'm walking up to Remi and going, and just poking her in the chest, roughly where I'm guessing the symbol
Pull her
is.
back.
Yes.
Leave her alone, Hazel.
I do have one last question. Yes or no? I'm not asking for details. Is Alice okay?
Yes.
That's all I need to know.
Okay, good.
I learned my lesson with Nai. Nai, I'm sorry. That came out all wrong. I apologize
Flitty,
with everything.
Flitty kind of comes down out of the trees. Why is the elfie man on the ground? I leave you alone for 10 minutes. And lands.
longer than that.
Flitty lands on Nai's shoulder and starts trying to nudge his face out of the sand a bit.
No.
But of course he's very small, so
No.
Mr. Elfie man, you can't breathe sand.
I can try really hard.
I could try really hard.
Mr. Elfie man.
Come on,
Nai.
man, get up.
Nai, come
I'll
on.
buy.
come
Look,
on.
I'll find you a drink. Obviously, you need one.
Yes. Go back
I
to
think
the
they
mall.
all-
Okay, I didn't know. Wow, for once I actually said something right. Apparently,
I think they only need one, Darwin.
Yeah, somebody needs to go to the market, get something to drink, get something to eat.
Yes, you guys have now
Speaking of
completely
food
forgotten.
and drinks, everyone here is very interested in meeting the person who slew the dragon.
Yes.
Right.
Let's do
Well,
dinner
it's-
first.
Let's
that
eat dinner
was
with
kind of
That will be
dinner
dinner.
with her.
It
We
They
will
have
want
be
to
to.
do
dinner.
dinner for that.
Well, you heard when I was putting my foot in my mouth with the the elders.
What they actually said was they're
Yeah.
going to do a big group meal.
Yeah.
So
And they were really
Oh.
hoping that Alice would come.
It's actually pretty standard for small communities like this to have a sort of big central meal rather than individual cook fires.
Did you tell them Alice was going to come?
No, because we wanted to make sure
Okay,
she was
good.
okay with it first.
or that
Thank
should be
you.
awake.
And that.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, no, we told when they. I mean, obviously, because we traded bits, they found out Red Dragon. Where did you get Red Dragon bits? Well, the exact phrase I used, if I recall correctly, was the person that did is asleep.
Yeah.
And you said.
And when they found out that they were here, they were said, "Well, we need to honor her great accomplishment, her feat."
Oh
So-
boy.
I'm gonna make your lives just a tiny bit more complicated again.
Oh no.
There's a noise overhead.
Oh no.
Very, very large, flapping,
Oh
leathery
no.
wings. Looking up, there's a flash of bronze
What's that?
that comes down a ways away. And if you wait for a couple of minutes, what strides across the sand towards your position outside of camp is the human form of Crea Bendis.
Hiding behind Remi. Like, I am immediately just hiding behind
I'm
Remi.
in attention.
Is that the one who turned him into a
I'm just
rabbit?
like action.
Yep. Remy's.
Is that the one who
staying
turned him
where she
into a
is.
rabbit?
Yep,
Froseth will
I'm in the
stay.
tent. I'm
The
hiding.
running is going to be very rude if Froseth will stay.
Yeah,
I'm-
so
I'm still in the.
he's
I'm still.
go ahead, Ben.
I'm still in the sand. I'm just gonna look up and go. Of course.
Okay,
Nai, get up.
Nai,
So,
get up.
Wait.
so
Oh,
Darvin's run into the tent. Hazel's hiding behind Who is
Remi.
Hazel hiding behind?
Remi.
Hazel's a couple of inches taller than Remi, so that's.
Ava's just standing there because she doesn't really get what's going on.
I just panicked. I just
What
full on
what-
100% panic.
What Ava sees as Darvin runs into the tent and. Oh my god, Alice A just looks up. What the fuck are you doing now?
Probably just made a big mistake.
I'm gonna have to talk to somebody. Am I gonna be able to stay in bed for like any point? I probably need to eat something anyway. So out steps Alice A as Darvin is cowering probably under something for all I fucking know.
Someone know who that is?
What Ava is seeing is a rather tall, sort of coming up around about the 6-foot mark woman. Think Wonder Woman as she should be drawn. Just long black hair tied in a couple of braids down her front. Bronze chased, iron chest plate, greaves, gauntlets, but most of the rest is bare. Carrying this really nasty fuck off glaive. And steps over. I note the bard is not among you. Ah, yes, hello. And looks at Ava. I am Crea Bendis, governor of Alama-Ver. And I would like to know why there was a red dragon in my territory and why it is no longer there. Did you people kill a red dragon? At which point Alice
Alice
A
killed
from
it.
behind Remi going, actually, fuck you, I killed it.
Because
I'm
I think
I'm
Ava
under
just
a
realized. I
blanket.
think
I'm
Ava
under a
just
blanket
realized
on one of the
who-
beds,
yeah,
just
Ava just
quietly
realized
going, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
She's got her back too.
Yep, she did it. We just saw it after.
At which
Yep.
point, Chris
Yes,
says,
she
I
did
was actually prepared to. Okay, I was prepared to very much disbelieve that most of you could actually kill a red dragon, but you on your own. Do you really want to make something of it? Technically, gravity helped. Gravity killed it. I facilitated. Also, you are a bitch. Looking at Alice like, will you excuse me? Because I can see where this is gonna go.
Oh no.
This is gonna be, you finally decide that I'm worth being a brash arrow, which you took away from me because these guys fucked him. By the way, Darfin's not the one who did it. He did what a leader should do and took responsibility for the actions of his crew because it was actually Hazel. But I don't want that punishment transferred because they can't be without a healer. You've seen what happens. But if you were gonna offer to make me a brass arrow, you can forget it. You are this stuck-up, arrogant, and I get why. Because of what you are. But you're an arrogant mayor. And I really don't want to be a part of your thing. I want to help these guys do what they're going to do. See what happens with things that I'm not going to talk about because it's none of your fucking business. And then I'm going to see where I end up. But it's not going to be here. It was going to be here. You could have had a really great brass arrow. Instead, you have me flipping you off and going to coax Darvin out from under a fucking blanket!
Very just ignores
Stomps back into the
Freya
bed.
entirely
Ava's
now.
like just.
At this point, I'm half expecting like dragon, and the tent will just be gone.
I am completely white. I think I'm going to die.
Remi's just watching. Oh, sorry.
I'm still trying to hide behind Remi, like increasingly small.
Here, as she started tearing in, I would have heard it and stopped meebling. And by the time she gets in, I'm actually like standing just with a gobsmacked look on my face. But I'm actually standing just like, okay.
She does turn around to Froseth and goes, well, I can respect a woman who takes absolutely zero shit. You may tell her that I will speak to Bahir and Viev, and she'll have a place with them whenever she wants it. However, it is just as well that she did not take my offer, because honestly, there is only enough room for 2 alpha bitches in my garden.
Wow.
I can have this one, is good. But, yes, you apparently managed to bring a red dragon into my territory by waking up something in that temple. You did not tell me about this.
We knew Tiamat was aware. We didn't.
Actually, no, you knew that in the bottom there, the blood of the Umber Hulk actually started waking up that ritual circle, and you ran and you never told her shit about it.
Oh god.
Oh, well.
Some of us.
Oh, I
think
didn't
about
realize-
it.
No.
Friggin' forgot about it.
Remi's
Yeah, I didn't realize those
We
were
knew-
connected.
Tiamat was aware
I
we were
am
in the
not
temple.
asking
We
for
didn't-
explanation. I am simply letting you know that I know now. And I am having some people take care of it, so hopefully there will not be any more incursions on my territory in the future.
That's good. Actually, there's also one more thing, since you're standing here.
Really?
Speaking of your territory, while we were in the desert, I heard something,
And me.
and Ava, it kind of
Yeah, we experienced some weird mind trick of some kind.
Yes, your ructions in the temple, it weakened a few things. I'm having Bahir sort some
okay, good.
protections
Yeah,
out.
as long
You did manage to rip apart several of my protections by simply being careless.
What did you do?
Anyway, we just wanted to make sure you're aware that there is one of those things that cannot be named
I am
down there. Okay.
I am aware. You pulls a fairly hefty looking pouch out of her out of a belt pouch on her armor. You give this to your blonde alpha bitch and chucks the bag at Remi. I go now. I really do not want to deal with you people. And walks away. And a couple of minutes later, wings.
Remy looks in the bag.
There's 100 platinum in there, probably.
Oh shit.
I'm just staring at where Kreia was.
We're less dead
This
than I thought we
meepling
were.
noise, and then
How
I
were we
just
less
faint.
dead than I thought we would be?
Okay, so yeah, as Nai says that,
And I'm
"We're
just-
far less dead than I thought it would be," and Darvin peeks around just as Hazel.
Oh, good. It went better than I thought.
No thanks to you.
She hates me.
And that's from Alice, who's just sitting on the bed laughing her ass off.
She hates me. Okay, I am taking no chances. That was probably the. Look, I'm just glad.
Remy?
Well, I mean, she did cuss him into being a bunny, so probably didn't want to
Anyone
aggravate the
actually
situation.
Realize that thing that she was talking about?
Huh? Sorry, what?
We didn't hear that, Ben.
Did anyone actually realize that thing that she was talking about?
And Alice but shoulders past Darvin out the tent. Well, you know, something woke up down there, and I was a bit too busy packing for my new life to actually say anything. Plus, they didn't actually let me in that district in the first place.
Okay, Remy just goes up to Alice, "You're amazing," and she kind of holds up the bag. "You're also kind of rich now."
Oh, yeah. Here.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And I'll hand her. Well, you had
The 50,
I forget which one of us was carrying it, but
Remy's
Yeah.
got the thing that Kreia gave her.
Okay. This is apparently what happens when you kill a dragon, so it looks like I don't have to worry about what the fuck I'm doing for a while.
and I'm gonna hand her the bag of the 50 platinum. Unless first, if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got one.
I've got
one,
it,
but
so-
one bag.
Oh, you got
in
it, okay.
One hand, one bag double the size, and the other one. Okay, first thing I'm gonna need is an actual bag to hold this shit in. Yeah, because you. By the way, you guys do remember you also had basically anything you want in the market. Because
Yep,
that was
which I'm
a
out- which-
lot
yeah.
of stuff. They just didn't have the coin on hand to give more.
Yeah, I'll say it would have been. That's just what coin they had. We've also basically got whatever we want, quote unquote, within reason. Was what it was specified. Is we can and we can
Well,
have.
A haversack, some supplies, and a couple of changes of clothes would be nice.
That was
Also,
basically.
they
want
want to
do that?
meet you.
Yeah, they do want to meet you. They're wanting to throw.
Only if
feast,
you're okay with it, of course.
Will there
in
be
your honor.
food?
Yes.
Yes.
Will there be booze?
Yes.
Probably.
I hope so.
Seconded, thirded, whatever.
Cleric is still unconscious.
Do I have to do the Healy shit on her, or
Remy
No.
just nudges her.
With
it's
a- with
just
a
being-
boot. With an armored boot. Thunk.
Yep.
Is she gone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because I'm actually out now.
Oh, the gods.
Okay, and one more thing before we forget to mention it. Kreia did mention, probably good thing you didn't accept her, because no room for more than one alpha bitch.
Was
That's
that
her
her
words.
words? It was you.
But you do have a place with either Viev or Bahir if you want.
Surprisingly, your back talk kind of intrigued her, I guess.
Well, that's tough. I found someone way better than some ancient fuck off dragon. Point me at food.
This way.
Okay.
Over there
Let's go.
somewhere. I didn't. We had.
Remy processes the compliment.
Mm.
There probably goes red.
We actually. We heard Hazel having a reaction, and we didn't actually have time to ask where specifically it was being held. But I'm assuming over in that general direction. So we'll ask.
Well, I need to look at the market anyway. And I definitely smell roasting things. So hey.
Cool. Shall we?
As you can see from the map, there's not that much actual market trading, but
Mm-hmm.
Kreia can, Alice can pick up, a couple of a couple of bits of actual clothing that she can, change into for under her armor. A decent set of boots.
I was thinking about doing much the same, just something a bit more region appropriate.
Hmm.
Yeah, Darwin will find that the material that they weave is actually, I mean, it's not completely, it's not see-through or anything, but it's remarkably light and breathable for what it's made from. And some of the dyes that the Agwe at least come out with are much more vibrant than you would have expected. The kind of thing that that his father made and sold at top dollar prices just because it was so hard to get such clear shades of reds in particular, but their purple's a little shaky, but
yeah. I'll get like maybe something small with that's purple-ish, but if the reds are more vibrant, I'll definitely that's fine for me. I'm happy. I just wanted something a little bit lighter than. Actually, Hazel, did you want to get anything as well? Considering that was what got us into that whole mess with the cacti.
I have an idea involving I'm pulling out the tooth and reaching into my bag of holding, pulling out one end of the spear. An idea involving this, if anyone is good enough at that sort of thing.
You want to make it into a weapon?
Ask.
Yeah, you can ask.
I'm going to. Are we going to food first, or are
no,
we doing something?
there's
We're
still a
in the
little
market
bit-
now.
you're currently in the market with the.
I am looking for anything. Looking for anything remotely resembling a weapon. People with weapons, or something.
It's not quite that. There's basically, I mean, if you look at the map, there really is just a couple of little bits and pieces. There's a 16-year-old girl at a stall with kind of what little woodwork kind of stuff they have, because clearly there's not a lot of wood, etc., and even less metal.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi. I woodworking sort of things here, yes?
A little bit, mostly stone, bone, that kind of thing.
That actually has me thinking. I'm pulling out the dragon's tooth. Would you be able to take this and somehow combine it with I'm pulling out the spear? This?
I think you need more of a metal worker for that, because you see what you would need to do, and it takes the bone, takes the tooth. You would need to cut this bit away and mount it into something metal, and then affix it to
Hmm.
the pole, because I cannot do it with the way that it has been set up for the spear, because this is more of a almost cylinder tapering, and
Okay.
also the curve of the tooth would make it a little bit difficult. You would need somebody, and we could straighten the tooth to not be curved, to be a straight line, but it would take a few days because we would need to soak and bend and soak and bend and soak and bend. And
That will be more than perfect.
do you have a few days? I
Uh,
understood
ga-
that you.
I have to ask, but
No,
that's definitely
because I still could not mount it onto your spear pole.
yeah. But what you guys are the fact that you can do that with the tooth at all is
Any bone worker could do this. We are not alone in this. I mean, what I could do, and I do not know if this is of any use to you or to your friend, because she has the look of Hunter, your friend with the scar on her face. What I could do is affix a bone and leather handle and sharpen one end, and she has a dagger.
okay.
That would only take until late morning-ish tomorrow, because I would not have to bend the bone so far. But spear, you would probably want to go someplace a little more with the use of metal workings.
Got it. Scar just for the sake of clarity, because my brain's a little fuzzy. The scar on face person, who was she referring
Ava.
to?
That's Allison.
Ava.
Oh, are you?
No, Alice, weirdly enough, has no scars.
My
Ava
bad.
has a scar across.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I had a feeling it was Ava. I just wanted to be absolutely sure before I
Yes,
made
well,
any.
keep in mind, these people know no names.
Yeah.
And
Oh, we never
I'll
gave
be right
them.
back. Like
And-
30
Yeah,
seconds.
I've just forgotten about the scar.
and pointing is rude, so.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. I'm gonna go get her for the other thing, and I'm beelining over to Ava. I need to borrow you.
For what? Are you in trouble again?
No, I'm not in trouble. This is.
She learns quick.
I found a way that we could use. Well, pulls out the tooth again. These,
Yeah.
at least for you anyway. I'm putting my tooth away. Come on. I'm not pulling. No, I'm just gesturing. Come on.
All right.
I'll
And I
follow
lead her
along
over
just
to
to be in the safe side.
Keep an eye.
So, hi again. I brought her.
16-year-old hair in a single braid.
Is it the same one we saw earlier or not?
No,
No, that was 14 and 15.
Right.
This one's a bit older, and oh, hello.
Hi.
You said something about turning
You're-
a tooth into a dagger.
Yes, you're a hunter type, yes.
I guess yes.
So some of the Dunsfolk hunters, they like turning the bones of the larger things that they kill into daggers, much like this one, and pulls out a dagger. It's clearly the tooth of something. It's a bit more of a stiletto dagger kind of thing, and it's more of a burrowing maw tooth from the looks of it. But I could straighten the curve of the tooth a little and sharpen one end and fix a handle and turn it into dagger for you.
Well, that sounds actually pretty neat.
How big are these teeth again?
Well, we're talking ancient dragon. It's ancient size dragon,
Yeah.
even though it was a young dragon. So we're talking big.
Like a foot.
So,
Foot
like
and
short
a half.
sword size.
Like the this is
How long would that
dagger equivalent
take?
to murder.
I understand you are having armor made. It would take about the same time.
Oh, perfect. If that's not too much trouble, yeah, I'd
We do not often get to work with dragon bone.
This is
Takes it.
mommy.
Yes.
Then I'll pull out, mine as well. Would you be able to make 2?
Not in the same time.
Bang. Okay.
You could.
I'll
get
lend
a-
mine.
you could get any bone worker to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, I understand. You just look so thrilled at getting the chance to work with Dragon Bone, and my thought was, why not work with another one? So that was all.
Yes, it will soak most of the night to be
Ah.
straight, and it will soak. Well, it will soak through dinner, and then I will have it fixed overnight to straighten, and then I will be spending many hours from sun up until it is ready, getting it sharpened and polished, and getting the handle affixed. So this will.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately, it would be mid-afternoon if I added a second.
Understood. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Eventually, does anyone else have anything they are after getting? I mean, there's.
I'm not exactly after getting anything,
Specifically.
but I'm pulling before we leave this stall. I'm pulling out the overly ornate dagger that I found way back.
You know, you
like
had
this-
that turned into a bracelet.
Did I?
Mhm.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, I
You
didn't-
still have the bracelet,
Yeah, the bracelet.
Mhm.
but no, you.
Yeah, I
Okay,
remember
I'm
that.
Pulling out the bracelet, looking at it. Looking. Here.
Why?
Because you're doing all of this, and I'm even with the dragon stuff, I don't think it's nearly enough payment for helping.
I thank you, but I do not know what I would do with it. We do not have much use for this kind of thing here. It's we like useful,
Okay.
but thank you. It is very kind. At which point you get Flitty sitting on Hazel's shoulder. You got a bag of sweeties.
Liddy, you're amazing, thank you. And pulling out sweeties, and I'm looking for if I could separate enough of the preserves to fit into another jar.
Yeah, that's as Hazel's doing that, a thought occurs to her.
It's hot.
No, not just that. Because the bag of holding is a pocket dimension, not a problem. They're about to collect something that's a living acid. Acid eats non-magical things. That probably includes glassware. Do they have something that can contain a chunk of gelatinous cube?
I have
Which I-
further question. We need to go get something that's basically living acid. The gelatinous cube
We have heard
Things-
of these, yes?
we need a way to contain that acid because it apparently eats everything.
Except enchanted things. And
Mhm.
rummages around behind and pulls out. It's a vessel apparently made of the bone of something very large that's been hollowed out. There are some
Wow.
runes curved around the edge. And it's about sort of by it's kind of big coffee mug size.
Oh my.
And
How much exactly do you need of the gelatinous?
The more the better.
And there's a cork and bone lid as well, which it kind of seals.
Remy,
Oh yeah, like the canisters. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And then
Remy looks at her sword at the notion of it melting everything.
no, and No. Gelatinous cubes only melt things that are not enchanted. I see your sword. Your sword is enchanted. It shimmers. Your spear will be eaten.
That's why I'm going to be using the hammer instead.
Okay. And then hands her the jar.
Thank you. And I'm like, bag of sweets, portioned out, bit of the preserves.
Thank you. I don't know what these things are, but I will share them.
They
when
are
I do my-
delicious.
They're really good.
Okay then. Thank you. I need to start on Dagger now. Yeah.
Okay.
All you
Thank
guys
you.
see is her trading for the fur, and she comes back with this big bone jar.
Well, I did
unless you
tag
have
along,
any
so I
others
heard.
Yeah.
to do, we will leave you to your business.
Yeah. Remy, Nai, and Furseth just see Hazel
The-
proudly displaying this jar.
Behold! We could put
It's-
cube in here.
Just make sure we don't break it.
It's a
It's
yeah,
enchanted. This doesn't break.
Ah,
it's a cube jar.
that's very handy.
This is
Yeah.
This is an everything jar, and into the bag.
Yeah. That's for cube bits, goop, whatever, gelatinous. I don't know
Stuff.
ooze, sludge. I don't know what you would call a cube that's no longer
Thankfully, you
cubed.
do have enough glass bits and pieces to collect venom.
Hmm.
Acid, you didn't have. So
Right.
Alright.
when I got away with saying that Hazel could do the thing because Hazel was looking at jars and thinking about missions. Anyone else have anything they want to be doing, picking up, whatever?
Not really.
Just in terms of anything supply related.
Oh
but
yeah,
no-
rations, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've
containers, bags, that type of stuff.
If there's anything specific Nai wanted or needed, he's completely unable to think of it right now.
Yeah, Alice, who remembers enough about his story to be getting on with, basically comes past him, chucks a couple of shirts and a couple of sets of just plain linen trousers for every day, sort of over his shoulder. I didn't figure you had changes of clothes, and prestidigitation only goes so far.
I am going to quickly look around for interesting fruit.
There's a lot of interesting fruit. And Flitty's nips around the ear. You're gonna spoil your dinner! There are, in fact, many, many pomegranates.
I have ideas. I will be back for those. Thank you, Flitty.
Remy, need anything? I mean, beyond the travel food and refilling the water.
No, she'll casually browse, but she's not looking for anything.
Yeah,
If
there's
this-
not a whole lot to casually browse.
This
If
must
there's a
not be the
moment-
ideal place to look for those, but how are we for healing potions?
There are no healing potions in this place.
No, I
good.
didn't think so.
If there's a moment to be sorry,
I think we still have a few.
No, go
Yeah.
Oh
ahead.
yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We got plenty.
if there's a
Alright.
moment to be had before we journey off for food, I'm going to pull Ava aside again.
What do you want?
Mm,
This has been bugging me, but why were you looking for Constance? And what's the something about a person with burns?
Ted, remind me, the constant thing was to bring her back to the throne.
Yes, well, to make sure she was safe, and
Hmm.
when
The
Giant
time
Duran
came.
III was dead, so that the king would have an heir.
Hmm. Well, I was looking for Constance, so to make sure she was safe, and so that when the time came, the kingdom would have an heir or an heiress. As for the burns, well, when I told you my house, my house was raised, right?
Yeah.
Well, truth is, part of the reason it got destroyed was my sister. Or half-sister. And when that happened, we fought, well, as much as I could without any formal training at the time. And I got this scar. She got a burn across the side of her face. And when I heard mention of a blonde, crazy blonde, I thought, you and fire and...
You're looking to kill her, aren't you?
I don't know. Part of me does, probably. But she was my mother's daughter, so I don't think she would want me to do that. So I'm still...
But this is a family decided to be made it suck, and so now you've got to get them back for it. Moment.
Something like that.
Is Hazel gonna ask the obvious question?
I actually don't know what the obvious question is.
I'm not sure either.
If this sister is Ava's mother's daughter, who was her father?
Oh.
Wait a second. Wait, who was her dad?
Well, I have reason to believe she's daughter of the charming person in charge of Baronsville at the moment.
Holy shit.
She's hot dragon.
Holy shit. That's something we need to deal with.
Eventually.
But probably not tonight, as
No.
basically you guys are hearing the sounds of the small, I mean, it really is just a few extended family units setting up dinner in the square.
We're gonna have to talk more about this later. Come on, let's go get food.
Yeah.
There's a surprising amount of dinner for a small settlement, and particularly one in the middle of the desert. The food itself is not that much different to what you'd get at home, but Hazel is probably quite fond of this one dish that's served on effectively a flat, very hot rock. Basically, they put down cork-lined, heated rocks and slide paper-thin pieces of meat of various descriptions onto them with onions and various other bits of spices. It's spicy as hell. And apparently some of it's sand hare and some of it's orixi, which is a gazelle-ish kind of thing that apparently does not need water of any description. And some of it's snake.
I'm watching Hazel turn various red shades.
of red, yeah.
I'm being like, ooh, having been forewarned, I'm going to carefully try some of that myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna try some too.
Okay, you two do need to make constitution saves.
Oh shit.
I thought so.
Wisdom check over
to this
here.
stuff now.
I'm trying it too.
But I am
That
being
is
careful and only doing a small amount.
Yeah, that is not my strong suit, but sure.
14.
Yeah, it's clearing your sinuses, but
Oh.
ow, 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 ow. You're turning colors and having a hard time breathing.
Oh dear. Oh dear. That was a bigger mouthful than I tried. Oh.
Actually, she actually probably got a pepper of some description.
Oh dear. Oh.
15.
You're handling it about as well as Darvin is. It's definitely clearing your sinuses. You kind of
Oh.
needed that, you know.
Not
Yeah,
too
get
bad
rid of the
after last
sand.
time.
Yeah. Ava's handed a mug of gazelle milk, which is
Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle.
something- Yes. For
Oh,
those
dear.
for those of a more sensitive palate, there is just plain old roasted haunch of four-legged meat.
Oh dear. I think
They-
you've got a chunk.
They do quite an interesting pomegranate wine, and not so much beer as mead,
Oh.
and some very, very, very strong pours like oil kind of clear liquor that just it's basically really good tequila.
Remi's going for that.
I'm actually going through each thing, starting with the mead, then the wine, and then I have to try
Oh,
this crazy
God.
stuff that Remi's trying.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
okay. Remi does know how to hold her drink. Hazel,
Hmm.
now you make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy, this is about to be fun.
One
is a
shot
6.
and she's on the floor.
I'll have what she's having.
Constitution save. The thing is, she's got the she's got the
Disadvantage.
exhaustion. So
I will.
Oh!
Oh wow!
he
A
barely
3!
he barely finishes the shot before.
Oh god.
Mead, please.
Yeah, I'll stick with the mead.
The mead is actually more
Do they have
alcohol.
water?
They have water. And they have juices as well. But
I think I'm gonna stick to non-alcoholic.
yeah, the mead's actually stronger than the wine, guys.
Oh,
Oh god.
That explains why starting
I
with
thought
the
they were
mead's
going
bad
for the
news
tequila
me.
though.
They did,
Oh.
but
Yeah.
it basically Nai went out just after one shot of the tequila. Hazel went mead, wine, tequila.
Mm.
But Froseth would be one thing of mead and over a long course of time, not chug.
Smart.
Yeah.
And he has a fairly high wisdom score. Hazel just has very low int and very high curiosity.
I've just spent a lot of time in taverns, so I'm taking my time.
It's like, I need to try all of these things, and the drink just knocked me the hell out.
Yeah, which is why Alice is sticking to like 2 glasses of the pomegranate wine and leaving it at that because she kind of knows her limitations at this point.
Also, she's probably going to have to make some sort of speech or at least tell the story.
She does not actually tell the story. Oh wow. 2 19s in a row. What the fuck? Despite the exhaustion, she turns around and goes, "Hey, Darvin, can you give me a beat? You've got the drum."
Yep, I'm gonna pull out my little drum and start.
Yeah. In the tribe I spent my years in, we didn't sing. It's not done up north. Oral's very picky, and nobody wants their song to freeze in their throat and choke them if they displease her. We dance our stories. So that's what I'm gonna do. What she does is, and this was, I think it's 3 proficiency. Because 2 natural 19s in a row, because I was doing the disadvantage, so that's 21 total. She dances a dragon kill. She starts, though, with meeting you guys. She glosses over some things. It's mostly came to this desert place and found work, but longing for more. And then these adventurers came, and they gave me a chance, and they gave me a home for a while. She dances the fight with the Burrowing Maw. She dances the Umber Hulk, and it makes specific mention of, so to speak, of Remy's killing blow on the giant mummified behemoth. She glosses over exactly why they parted ways. But there's a certain indication of sadness that they had to, in a few cases, for a few reasons. She dances, looking out the window and seeing the flash of red, the flash of flame. From what you can tell from fairly evocative kind of, it's a cross between the haka and poi, so it's a lot of gesture and posture. Apparently, she spread her ice armor across as much of the deck as she could, just in case. First thing she did was open a nasty gash in its underside, just to get its attention. Then went up and over through one of the wings, which is why you found the wing chunk. And then started hacking at the backs of the shoulder blades. She didn't think she could kill it herself. She really did let gravity do the work.
God damn.
She apparently snapped some tendons and things between, and the dragon did start to fall.
Wow.
She went down trying to get low enough so that when her wings went, because they only last a minute, maybe the fall wouldn't kill her. And a lucky swipe from the dragon's claws shunk straight through the chest. Pauses, absolutely frozen for a moment. And she finishes off with, these people, Istus brought these people to me, Palor brought these people to me to bring me back. Finishes up, walks over to Remi, sits down next to her. Okay, I probably should have waited to do that, but hell with it. And the applause is absolutely insane.
Remy just
Yeah, and I'm not applauding. I'm basically beating applause on the drum.
I enjoy.
Ava's
I-
like thoroughly impressed because she's never seen anything like
That's how
Yeah.
we do it up north.
that. That was amazing.
We need to go up north.
Yeah, at which point the musicians who've been making all the instruments that you guys were seeing in the market start trying to put it to music, so you can hear them doing with just song what you do with lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So you see them taking it apart scene by scene, and so that song is gonna last for a while.
And I'm watching and listening to it just because I've not seen somebody do it without lyrics involved, so I'm just sort of rapt attention, fascinated.
Yeah, eventually, I imagine that Hazel's out, so people are gonna have to carry her to bed. There's probably not really a need for a night watch, but as the elders say, the Dune folk, they somewhat keep watches. The main reason that they do not raid us, because they know that if they raid us now, they do not have our food and our water later. They keep us safe. Just be careful of the women. Sometimes they are not overly thoughtful when they take wives. And unless anyone has anything else they want to do or are capable of doing, because two of you are unconscious.
We thank them thoroughly for the.
That's just. So we will pick up next week. Hooray! With the continuation of your journey and the waking up to an Agwe oasis camp first thing in the morning. And probably some lesser restoration.
Yeah, a lot of it.